Hey guys, this is Oz, and today I will be presenting my directorial matrix for the play Richard III by Shakespeare. So, synopsis: Richard III wants to become king and is willing to do anything to get the crown, including sow discord amongst his own people and kill his own family one person at a time. My matrix is basically to tell the story as a campfire story narrated by Richard III that is accompanied by actors in Elizabethan costume and shadow puppet set pieces. The idea is to make Richard different and relatable while also being the villain of the story, and he should seem more real to the audience than any of the other characters. My evidence is several times during Several times during the first few scenes of the play, Richard describes himself as creating a character, and such as, and therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these farewell spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain, which is Act 1, Scene 1, lines 28 through 30. And then later, and thus I clothe my naked villainy with odd old ends stolen forth of holy writ, and seem a saint when most I play the devil, as if he is creating this part like a master storyteller creating a campfire story as he is telling it. And then even eventually the other characters begin to talk about him in this way, like Lady Anne in Act 1, Scene 2. Foul devil, for God's sake, hence, and trouble us not, for thou hast made the happy earth thy hell. As if, in reality, Richard is shaping and manipulating the world around him and the people around him to create a story all of his own. Richard makes himself the villain by manipulating and playing with the other characters, almost as if he is playing the part of a story's narrator, and by while also putting himself within the story. For sound, I was thinking, as you probably heard, there's the nice sounds of a campfire and some creepy sounds, which I thought would be very nice to set the tone as the audience walks in. And just always to remind in between scenes that it is a campfire story and not just your traditional Elizabethan retelling of a Shakespeare play. And I thought that at the end we could also use a bit of Chopin's Funeral March for use as exit music, which sounds like this. Just very creepy and very fitting for the way the story ends, with Richard having ended his own Plantagenet line and then dying himself. For lighting, I was thinking that it should be believable that all the stage light is provided by firelight, which is used to cast shadows, as though there is in fact low warm light lighting the stage, so that it isn't too dark for the audience to see. Care must be taken not to overdo the lighting so that the shadows play can still be seen. Well, the overall effect should be reminiscent of fire and the way fire light casts light all around, which leaves the stage rather dark. Brighter spotlights on actors can be used as they are needed. Characterization. Richard is, without a doubt in my mind, the most important character in the show. He acts as the show's narrator even while he is a part of the action. He is omniscient, as narrators often are. He knows what is going to happen because he is making it happen and shaping events as they take place. But he is unable in the end to prevent his own fall. The others exist simply in Richard's telling of the story, almost as if they were his puppets. They're simply part of the story themselves. The set will consist of a wide white screen across the back of the stage with foam cutout pieces to cast shadows on the screen from behind. There'll be trees to fill the corners between the seating banks. I was imagining this as a thrust stage, so with a wide expanse and then a part jutting out into the audience to increase the intimacy between the story and the audience members, and then various pieces of furniture as they become relevant, such as a throne. These are some images I used when I was constructing my aesthetic for what I wanted this to be, because as I was doing research, I found that there are two sides, that either you could go the Laurence Olivier colorful, clownish almost aesthetic, or you could go a bit creepier. And in the end, this is a creepy story of murder and betrayal. For blocking, I was thinking Richard would enter early and sit in the audience for a few moments playing the part of an audience member before standing up and beginning his opening speech. He acts, again, as both the narrator and as the orchestrator of the plot. Richard himself will often enter through the audience entrances, through the trees, while the rest of the cast enters from the two stage doors further upstage. Richard never really exits, just like the narrator of a campfire story can't leave from within the moment of the action. He is always on stage, telling the story, orchestrating events, and manipulating what is going on, almost as if he is omniscient but unable to prevent his own fall. And finally, costumes. I was thinking to make Richard more relatable to the audience, he would need to be in more of street clothes, like a black hoodie, black skinny jeans, and black combat boots, with eventually a golden crown to signify his rise to the throne. The rest of the cast would wear mostly all black or mostly black Elizabethan wear to fit their character. And all the black will contrast nicely with the white screen, which would also create this image that the characters themselves are shadows and shadow puppets within the story that Richard is creating. And then these are just some images that I used to put together my idea of what the costumes would look like. Thank you for watching my presentation. Have a nice day.